When looking for your favorite tools and supplies for your next flooring job, we have the absolute best place to shop online. Head on over to shagtools.com, the pro's choice for everything from cutters, adhesives, knee pads, shower systems, and more. Shag Tools carries all the premium brands you know and trust. In stock with fast shipping to either you or your job site. And right now, our new customers are going to receive 10% off their initial purchase using the code HUDDLE10. That's right, HUDDLE10 at shagtools.com.
What is up, team? Welcome to the Huddle, your weekly playbook helping you gain forward progress in your career. Simply put, we're here to help you guys win. For all our new viewers, welcome to the team. Want to give a quick shout out to Shag Tools as a sponsor for today's video. Don't forget to go to our socials, check us out, give us a like, a subscribe. We always appreciate that. Also, remember to give us any topics or tools you need to work through or have us get an expert on for. Today's topic, Tech Talk. We brought you guys a lot of technology recently, and today's topic is how to kind of leverage digital tools and how they're revolutionizing the flooring industry and actually all the trades. We're here with James Hatfield with LiveSwitch. James, welcome to the Huddle, sir.
Paul, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here with you guys.
Yeah, awesome. As always, Mr. Daniel and Jose Gonzalez are in the house. And before I get going, I wanted to say all of our wishes and prayers. We have a friend that's struggling. Daniel, you said you have an update.
I'm gonna pop up a QR code in a little bit after I get it set up.
So as many of you know,
they're gonna do they're gonna do a raffle. So I'm trying to get everything together so I can pop that up. And they just said that everyone does like the GoFundMes and stuff, and now they're just like, at least if you're gonna be spending some money on something, at least you try and get something back, whether or not you need the tools. It's neither here nor there. Raffle them off again, do whatever you got to do, but at least you're getting something.
Yeah. Well, as many of you know, Dan Churchill, a great friend of the industry and CFI and of the Huddle, has suffered some medical issues. I believe they were strokes, if I'm thinking correctly, and just want to take a quick second and keep Dan in your thoughts. And it's a really, really tough situation him and his wife are going through. So keep Denise in your thoughts and in your prayers, and Dan as well. So hate to start these off somber, but Dan is a really good friend, and I hope he has a good road to recovery. So with that, we are going to get going here. I thought a great place to start, James, is give you just some time to tell us a little bit about you. It sounds like you were a tradesman, turned technology guy. I can really resonate with that. I was a flooring guy, and I own a flooring company, and I started a tech company about 5 years ago, and that's been a heck of a journey. But when we've talked about technology a lot. I did a speech at our last convention about how AI can impact a lot of things, taking that center 80% of busy work that a lot of us do as tradesmen. Whether you have a flooring store or you're an installer, there's this 80% of stuff that you really don't want to do. You just kind of want to sell and then take care of the customer and then collect some money for that service. And I think you're a big part of this center 80% that's getting taken over by technology.
Oh yeah, definitely. I want to make AI practical and tactical for the trades. AI for the rest of us is what I coin it, because you hear all this AI stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I guess that's cool, and it can be, but it also kind of sounds like magic beans at times too. So I want to make it real. Like, where's it really going to help me in my business, and where's it going to help my team? Otherwise, it's just another thing I got to learn. I ain't got time for that. So, that we'll talk a little bit about AI today, though, and kind of bring the plane in for a landing on that.
Nice. Yeah, so making AI practical and tactical, I think you just said.
I like that one.
Yeah. You know, a lot of the trades, whether you're in landscaping or flooring or painting or whatever, you know, they're out doing their thing. And that's going to be around for quite a while. You know, we're not going to have robots running around doing the hardest work. The idea, our stance here on the Huddle is that the idea that it's going to come start taking over the trades is possible, but it's many decades away. There's a lot of other jobs that are getting eaten up. I think we can see that in our most recent jobs report. Our GDP's up and our job report's down. That's the first time that's happened. And is happening as a result of a lot of these, I would say, lower skilled data entry kind of jobs, although important, are getting eaten up by that kind of thing. And so you ain't got to worry about it if you're a really good skilled tradesman. So like we always say on the Huddle, go get trained and do great work and be professional, and you're gonna be around a long time earning money. So James, tell us a little bit about your background, kind of a little bit about James and how you got into all of this, so people can get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, so I come from a blue collar background. My father built the house we lived in. You know, he taught me how to work on the car, work on the house. You know, grandfather was the same. Never even graduated high school. His father died young, so he had to go get a job. He was the oldest of 6. And big dream for me, for my family, is to go and own and operate a painting company, which is what I did. I knew how to paint a house head to toe, and now I could make a business out of it and feed my family with it. And that's what I did. Hired multiple crews, did commercial, residential painting, resulted also in a power washing company, because a house, you got to power wash it. So that was good margin money as well. And the only reason I ever changed, I actually never thought I would, because I loved it. I love running my own company. I love being an entrepreneur. I love putting people to work, paying salaries, making sure people are eating, and, you know, really contributing to my community. I always felt a sense of pride that I wasn't selling crack to kids, and that I was out there really trying to make a name for myself and do it the right way. And
Only
I could
pride
sleep.
with adults.
That's right.
Yeah.
Only adults, never the kids, you know, looking out for our community. No, I mean, I didn't want to do that. You know, I didn't feel good about it. And I thought the way that I could better my community was through the trades, and I did. And the only time I felt like I couldn't handle it, because I think a lot of us, we became accidental business owners. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good at paying the house, and oh, dang it, now I've got to make sure payroll is made. And so I'd go to my bookkeeper, because I didn't know how to do all that stuff. And they would really, I was telling you guys earlier, they'd speak English to me, and I'm like, I don't understand a word coming out of your mouth. And I didn't like that. I didn't want someone to like take advantage of me, because I didn't know. And so I was like, I'm going to go to business school while I run my company. So that's what I did. That way I could be ready to rock. And plus, I thought if I could get an arm on my books, I could watch not only my teams, my quality of work, but I could definitely make it better. Nothing like a better margin, or growing my revenue, or maybe eventually selling the company. So as I was doing that, I met a guy. He owned landscaping companies, laundromat companies, and he was doing the same thing. And he was a kind of a whiz kid. And so he created this technology way before AI that could analyze your income statement and balance sheet, and you could run it through it, and it would tell you in plain language what that meant. And I was like, that is my problem. I love that. And he's like, well, do you think you could sell it? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I've gone door to door when we didn't have jobs the next week during the weekend. Like, I got bills to pay. I'd hit the street. So I'm like, how different could it be? And we took that company from nothing to Inc. 500. We were one of the fastest growing companies in the country for 3 years. And then we became and sold it to KKR, and it's a multi-billion-dollar company that's still around today. So that kind of worked out. Getting off.
Yeah,
It got me off the
sounds
ladder.
like it.
It worked out a little bit, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, it worked out really well, actually.
So this piece of technology this gentleman put together would read an income statement and give you, when we say layman's terms, I mean, most of us, what you were talking about earlier, are just that. We're technical. We're technicians. We do the thing, and so we think
with these guys right here.
Yeah, let's go start a thing that does the thing. You know, I was a flooring installer. I went and started a flooring company when, you know, we all have our stories as to why, but, you know, you don't have all the other soft skills, or even, you know, accounting skills that are needed. And this sounds like it would just take a simple give you a simple format in return off your balance sheet and income statement.
That's right. That's right. It just tells you what I couldn't do, it was doing for me. Right. And so from that, we collected all this private company data, and then the bank started using it to lend against, and the rest is history. I mean, it worked out great. Sold that company, got into philanthropy, started doing inmates to entrepreneurs, taking incarcerated women through our programs. We go in the jails, we teach. We love seeing second chances. We even hire folks in our current company for that. Tons of great stories, so much so that it became an ABC television show called Free Enterprise. And I can't believe that my business partner is a movie star or whatever, a TV star. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, but anyway, he is, and it's great. And we graduate so many folks. I can't even go to graduations anymore. It just kind of chokes me up because of what people have been through justice issues and things like that. But it's a lot of ways, it's been really cool. But we were feeling too young to hang our boots up, but we didn't want to start from scratch, and we had a little bit of capital this time. So we went and bought a company, and we took that company. We bought it 5 years ago, and that's where we are today with LiveSwitch. We'll walk all through that, I'm sure. But we were ready to give it another go, and we ended up back in the trades again, which I just think it's home for us. Like, I think we're supposed to be in the trades because that's where we come from, and I really feel like I'm more with my people now compared to where I was with other stuff we were doing in the tech company. Like, we did the Super Bowl the last 3 years. Like, if you go to an MLB ballpark and scan a QR code and they put you on the Jumbotron, we did that. Like, during the COVID, when the NBA had the bubble, WWE wrestling had all the virtual fans, we powered all that stuff. So that's really cool. And I enjoyed being behind the scenes in a lot of the sports events. But that still didn't get me with my people. The only reason I got back is because we were reinventing the 911 phone call with the chief of police in Washington, D.C., just having to figure out a way to tap into people's cameras when someone's compromised, to be able to stream, since everyone's got 3 cameras in their pocket now, stream that to the police car, fire truck, emergency medical, so those teams can see what they're driving into. It's called situational awareness. It was like, well, who else could use this stuff? Lo and behold, back in the trades. And we'll talk all through that, but we just followed the bouncing ball. But sometimes I think you're just where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, that's kind of funny because we talk about it in our industry all the time, that once you get like sucked in, you might venture away a little bit and then you're right back in it. It's that way in the trades in general. We have a running joke in the flooring industry. We're one of the, we're a very, I would say, a good sized industry that's not very well known. We talk to people all the time who are like, yeah, I never even thought, well, the materials only in our industry is $26 billion. And then, you got another 28 billion in labor value that's attached to that. And then the ancillary items that are purchased because of it. And so you're well over a $50+ billion industry. And in that, it's a really tight knit community, though. It's really kind of nuts. I found that in the other trades as well. Is that your experience when you were doing painting and such?
Oh yeah. I mean, everyone knew who we were watching, who we wanted to be like when our business grew up a little bit. Right. And we wanted to try to save a bunch of errors. I remember when paint sprayers first came out. I mean, we were rolling hand brushing homes, and paint sprayers were like the thing. And I was like, oh my goodness. So of course we bought one because I was like, well, if it's going to save me a ton of time and make me margin, let's get it. So we got one, and oh my goodness, the first 5 houses were a disaster. You know what I mean? We're spraying roofs, we're like painting the wrong color. I'm like, oh my gosh, I mean, it was so bad. I mean, you want to make mistakes, we did, but that's the way with any new technology. In that case, it was paint sprayers. You play with it a little bit, then you get it down, then you implement it in the workflow, and all of a sudden you're like, I can't live my life without this thing. Like, I could never go back to rollers and hand brushers now. Just give me a shield and a sprayer, and it's off to the races. Oh man, now they got backpack power washers. Yeah. I'm like, and soft washing. I'm like, I wish I had all that back when I was running it. I mean, woof. But times change, and I still remember doing carbon copies for my bids, where you had to go through the white, pink, and yellow sheets to go into
press hard.
Yeah. I mean, my goodness. I mean, but all that stuff really taught me everything I needed to know in every business that I've ever run, or every nonprofit that I've ever run, or any board that I'm sitting on now. All of those skills really have helped me become who I am today. And I'm so grateful. And that's just where I came from. I can always just remember my young self looking at a mower or looking at a power washer or looking at the tools and seeing like, man, I can make a living off that. I can go and I know I can learn the job. I can do the job. I can teach it to others. And I always just saw opportunity, not, that's what I just saw. I just saw business, and I love entrepreneurship, and that's what we live and breathe every day, which is why we started our nonprofits, because we just love it.
Always half full. I love that, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, as I was saying earlier, this, the spray, your paint sprayers and yours, in the painting industry, and ours, it's, just even tile saws and how they've evolved over the time, and tile breaker boards and stuff, have really changed our industry, as well as like, we talk about all the tools of the trade on here a lot, but that's shortening that installation time frame, your efficiencies, so to speak, on a project. What I think that technology is doing, as I stated earlier, is really getting rid of that middle stuff that none of us want or have time to do. For example, in commercial side of the world, you're always dealing with submittals, and then you get in the submittals back, and you've got ordering materials and tracking materials and all this stuff. Well, that part, my company right now, we're working on some narrow agents to just do one job, treat it like an employee, build it out, and have it do one job. And that's what my speech was kind of around at the last convention, was just getting rid of that 80%, how it's starting to go away. And it sounds like LiveSwitch does, participates in that, and will be a big player in this evolution of allowing, I think, building relationships on the front side and on the back side, and then just doing really good work. If we can focus on that and get rid of this middle stuff, I think, first off, it's the more enjoyable parts. And secondly, if you're, whether you're a people person or not, we all like to see our clients smile. So the reward is there for that. So tell us a bit how you could see LiveSwitch, working on that center part, that 80% of stuff that, we don't necessarily love doing.
Yeah, well, a lot of different things. You mean you don't love entering all your notes and information in your CRM? You mean you can't get your guys to do that after every job? I'm so shocked. My guys hate that stuff. You know what I mean? So any way that we can help our customer or our team member save time and do it in a way that is efficient and effective, then, that's what we're trying to do. So first thing we wanted to do was speed to lead, race his face. I'll go around and I'll speak on stages, and I will on stage secret shop your business, right? I will go to Google and I will Google flooring near me, whatever state I'm in, and then we'll pull up all the, 766 5-star reviews. I'll whip out my phone and I'll hit speakerphone and hit call. I did this other month in Orlando, and the first one, 766 reviews, went to voicemail after 9 rings. Second one went to an AI agent, and it was terrible, because I was like, hey, I'm going to pretend that I'm about to have a pool party tomorrow. I got a lot of money, and I'm willing to pay double if they can come and do it now, right? So I said that, and the AI agent, hey, great to hear that, but before I transfer you to a live person, let me take a few information. I said, I got a lot of money. You don't need any more than that, and I'll pay double. Oh, well, thanks again for it. Was terrible.
Yeah.
So much so, the next person on stage the next day, it's like, hey, did you hear about the guy secret shopping those businesses yesterday? And the one guy in the crowd was like, oh, yeah. And the guy he called sitting right here who didn't pick up the phone. Oh, and of course, this guy is like 6'5" and built like a tank. And he comes and finds me after. And I'm like, okay, so this is how I die. I didn't draw that color. This guy's going to kill me. But he came over with his marketing guy who was also like built like a tank. And the business owner was like, did you call me at 1 o'clock yesterday? I'm like, oh, yeah, absolutely. And the marketing guy's making all these excuses. And the guy's like, no, we just didn't pick up the phone. So one, for everyone listening, I'm sure we all pick up the phone, right? And if you don't, cold call and see, secret shop. Let's make sure when that quote comes in, how fast are you getting to it when that phone's ringing, how many rings until you pick it up, right? Because that you're on the clock. That is money. Nobody just wakes up in the morning and is like, oh, I just want to call, Daniel at the flooring company just to say hello and check the weather. Like they're calling Daniel because they want work done and they want to know how much is it and can you do it? And they've got questions, right? Like they're not calling just to shoot the breeze.
Daniel gets a lot of calls about his extended warranty on his vehicle.
I do. Well, up until this recent update on iOS, and then it just blocks everything. I don't get any calls anymore. So you'll probably call me and it'll go to voicemail. So I'll be that guy in the front row that didn't answer the phone.
That's right. That's right. But don't worry, there's solutions out there for that. And you will be able to answer the phone and take every warranty person and say, hey, no, thanks. But then when the real call comes in with the real money, now what we're going to be able to do is instead of saying, hey, I can be out there to give you your free estimate, which is not free for me as a contractor. I've got to pay. The most expensive thing I do is that actually I got to pay someone hourly in one of my vehicles, burning up my gas, going across town, and I'm not even guaranteed to work. I mean, we close a lot, but I didn't close 100% and nobody does. Right. Mm-hmm. Then you got the people that are tire kickers who have no business calling you because they're like, how much is it? No, I'll just get 2 pizza boxes and all my boys and we're going to get over there and do the flooring. Right. So we never happened to you guys. Right.
Yeah.
No one take advantage of expert advice. Okay. But so what we're trying to do and what we do every day now, and we've been doing it for years, is when that call comes in, now you can send a text message. There's no app. Remember the 911 phone call. The customer or future customer can now hit, just all they have to do is tap a text. That's it. There's no app. There's no nonsense. If you can tap a text, we're good. And then you're live on video with your estimator or with the owner, whoever answers the phone. And now you can, connect because the face closes. Even if mine isn't that pretty, it still has a higher close rate than just a phone alone or chatting on it. It doesn't. I always ask, like, whose chat robot closes all their... None. No, nobody. It doesn't happen. Who's blind bidding? You might do some discovery, like how much do you have set aside when you wanting to do this, and that might rule somebody out. But if you can see them and they can see you, and now you can see the job, you're going to get a lot of information as a contractor. You're going to see their home, right? You're going to see if they're serious. They're going to see you to build trust, and then you're going to have 3 kinds of customers. The first kind of customer who's a tire kicker, who you are not going to see, and you just saved your time. Like that is not somebody. So we're going to rule them out. Second person. Thank you, Amazon. I bet all you guys are Prime members, right? Or everyone listening.
Oh, yeah.
We're all Prime members. You don't have to be a Prime member. You actually don't even need to pay for Prime. The only reason we do it is because we don't want to wait for our boxes in 2 weeks. We want our boxes not in 2 days. We want them in 2 hours.
Yeah.
We are no different as contractors. Nobody wants to wait around for you to come and show up on the property and get their kids there or come from work, or it's kind of inconvenient. Right? So sometimes we forget what our customers go through day to day. But if they're calling, now show me. All right, now you can see it. And those Amazon Prime type customers, they might already have the money. They might have already done AI review on you. They might have done a Google search on you. There may be a referral. They already know how much you're going to cost because they probably even put it through AI. And they're kind of in the ballpark. And you've probably seen, if it's a small job, you've probably bid that in your sleep. We could wake Jose up in the middle of the night and he's like, yep, that's a $2,000 job. That's $4,000. Yeah, you've seen it, right? So that's that bucket. So you're going to, when you close your first deal virtually, if you haven't already, you're going to get addicted to it. And your customers are going to be like, why isn't it? I'm telling your customers, why isn't everyone doing this? Well, here we are. We're here now. So the middle layer, the last one, second bucket, is the customers that have the money and are worth you driving out for. Maybe it's a larger job or more complicated job or custom job. Now you know they're worth it. And they've seen you. So hopefully, I got to get 3 more bids and we got to go around the dinner table and I got to ask everyone in my family before we, those types too. Where oh my goodness, we all hate those. But I mean, I'm just preaching to the choir here. But that's what we're trying to do. Get your face, see the job. And that's role number 1. And that's just the first part of what we're doing. We're going to talk about operations, marketing next, recurring revenue, all those great things to modernize your business. And of course, AI. Because after that video is done, you can laser guide people around. You can share your screen and walk them through a bid. And you can take that entire recorded video and push it through AI and say, hey, this is a salesperson. Tell me what I did well. Tell what I can do better. Tell me how to upsell more. And it'll give you a whole report. And AI doesn't have emotions. So it will slap your people around in a good way. Because when you're good, you want to get better, I think. Right? So AI will help that. Most, unless you're just kind of lazy. But whatever. And then the other piece is, hey, run it for pre-existing damage. because you've never had a customer go and you do a beautiful floor and like, oh, well, these marks on the wall, your guys put that on there. And now you got to clean that up. And you're like, let me check the instant replay. I wasn't even on your property and the marks were there. It happened to me all the time when I painted. Hey, you dinged up my gutters. No, you just hadn't looked at your gutters for 5 years because your house looked terrible until now it looks like it's shining like a diamond, right?
Yeah, we get that quite a bit in our, we'll go in, replace carpet or, tile, and all of a sudden the ding on the front of the cabinet was, and the way we battled it before is, you rely on a human to take the picture and throw it, record that and make sure that the homeowner knows later. But like, if your guy forgets or misses something, like that tool by itself is a great, great archive to have in those instances.
Absolutely. And then it's keeping everybody accountable, not just the team, but the customer, right? Because you've never had a team member who got a sale who sells world peace, right? Where the technicians go and they're like, we did what for what and how much, like, no. Or the customer's like, oh, well, you're already carpeting the living room. Your sales guy said they'd be happy to carpet the dining room as well at no extra charge. Like, well, let me check my instant replay. We're happy to carpet the dining room, but it's not in this bid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Question for you.
Of course.
The video you talked about as far as grading the salesperson, can that video be ran through AI and then be turned into a work order if you are awarded a project?
Yeah, you can turn it into anything you want. Oh, and I want it in Spanish, or I want it in German, or I want it in French, or hey, examine it for pre-existing
Daniel doesn't
damage.
speak Spanish, so we'll leave it.
So walk us through a typical, say, a painting call. I think we're all curious of how you would use something like this in the real world. Obviously, you gave us the example of, the homeowner calls in. It's I'm familiar with this type of technology where it's a text message that they click on, enter their name, and it's a two-way video. I'm assuming you can do some marking on the video, that kind of thing. But then as they're walking you through the project, you does it do measuring because there's like the LiDAR from Apple, where, you can just scan a room and it takes other known things, chairs and table heights and counter heights and such, and scales the video and turns it into takeoff for the project. Is there that kind of thing? Tell us a little bit more.
Yep. So we want to crawl, walk, and then run, right? Like if you try to eat the whole elephant at once, it ain't happening, right? And this is not just for your team, but it's for your customers, right? Customers are now getting more adapt to being like, oh, we can do this virtually now, right? Which is why they say, why isn't everybody doing this? Because there's an adoption piece of this. So the first thing we're trying to do is to take the phone from my ear and put it to my face, right? 3 feet from the ear to the face, right? You can get that first. And again, this is all encrypted. I mean, this is safe. It's SOC 2 certified, meaning it's safer than the phone call. So when you go to video, phone call is ancient. We still have phone numbers, and it's terrible, right? We'll get rid of that one day.
That's from the 1900s, bro.
It's terrible. It's the worst part of our phone, and it's because it is ancient technology. So when you switch to video, now it's safer, it's encrypted, and then you see what they see, and it's all tuned up. This is not a FaceTime call. For the customer, it's the reverse of a FaceTime call. Because some of us, like Jose and I, have these things on our face called glasses because I can't see anymore. And they give you these when you get into tech, and they take your lunch money. So it is what it is. And I'm a big nerd.
Part of it, yeah.
It's just part of it. And so it's flipped for them because now they're going to turn their camera and they're going to walk around the job site, what's going on. They're going to see you small with a virtual background so you can look pro. A lot of my guys work out of their trucks. They're working at the job site trying to win the next job. And then the customer's walking around. But for me, as the contractor, I can see you on my screen or my tablet, whatever I'm doing. I can take remote photos I can laser guide you around, like go that way, hold still. Let me get a picture of that serial number. Let me get a picture of this and that. Oh, let me share my screen and walk you through this. And all that'll get recorded where you can share it with the spouse. Maybe if they're not there, oh, I got to talk to my spouse before we buy, because that never happens. It happens every time. So I want them to see me as a professional, what I walk them through. Then maybe I need to submit it to insurance if it was a damage claim, right? And then I can tag it for training. Maybe it's best in class. Oh man, that's exactly how we do a training call. So when I hire new people, also you can document your process. If you ever want to sell your business one day, everyone should be reading this book, Making Money is Killing Your Business, because we all work in our businesses, but now we need to learn how to work on our businesses and free ourselves from freedom mapping, right? So you go to that part, and now we're going to document our process. And no longer do we need to be Ernest Hemingway or a great writer. We can now just take a video, talk to it, and have the AI produce our process documentation from these videos, right? So now I've got a recorded video of how we do things. So not just sales, but operations. Got a recorded video of my of everything we're doing in our business. I've got a documentation, written and video. And so if I ever need to go sell my business, that's going to increase your exit. If you ever want to exit, you need to document all your process. I know at the PA,
yeah, it's a huge part.
Absolutely.
Huge part of a service business is, why are you successful? They're looking at you to purchase because you're successful. But if you don't have your processes documented, and there's a lot of companies that have, really Trainual and a lot of LMS learning management systems out there that have really kind of niched into that market of like process documentation. We talk about that a lot, even at the very beginning level of doing it in Google Sheets, something that's free and that everybody can get to in your organization, and process documenting and putting live video in there even. So that's great that you're skipping. What I see with technology, what's really cool is that just a couple of years ago, what seemed like a shortened process, you just can't imagine what another 10 years does, or 5 years, 2 years. It just shortens the process even faster. Having a video turn into your processes and your policies and procedures for doing your business, and you don't have to physically document that anymore. Just getting someone to do it. Yeah, I bet it is.
Man.
It's all about it. It's really all about having the right tools. And speaking of the right tools, I want to get to our sponsor for the day and do a quick video for Shag Tools. Shag Tools is our, your number one place to go for all the professional tools in the flooring industry. Make sure to go visit them at shagtools.com and show them some love. Don't forget Huddle 10 is your promo code to get 10% off of that. And we'll show you a quick video here from Shag Tools. All right. Thank you, Shag Tools, for sponsoring today's episode. Like I said, it's all about having the right tools, and James is here talking a little bit about LiveSwitch and really on a broader perspective, how the tradesman can, how we can really leverage technology. It doesn't have to be scary. He said tactical and practical. I love that language. So we're going to continue the good conversation we got going here. So once we talked about the video and how we can turn in processes and procedures. Tell me about how you've experienced, or how some of your clients have experienced, like, a tradesman wanting to get a job. They do the video. They're able to maybe bid that job elsewhere, but you did break it down into a few distinct categories. you can tell with your tire kickers, like how, and save money. You know, we know the old saying, a penny saved is better than a penny earned. And it's because there's no cost associated with saving money. So, you know, if you can get rid of those tire kickers and get your quick estimates out, and then also pre-qualify the nicer, larger, maybe custom type jobs. What's the next process on something like that? Like a larger, nicer kind of project. You just did this. What's the experience for the customer and the user?
Yeah, so for the larger custom jobs, first thing you're going to do is when they're calling you, now you're going to video connect with them, right? Because now they're getting ready to spend 5 figures, right? Or more. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're going to connect with your sales team or you, the owner, whoever's picking up the phone. Now you're starting to see them. You're presenting yourself as a bit tech forward, right? They don't expect that from trades companies. And now, wow, look at this guy. And here we're going through it. And then you're doing your discovery. You're seeing, okay, that house is the house I want. Then you're scheduling that time where you're going to come out. So then when you get out on property, you're going to take your phone out and we're going to start video documenting everything. And I want you to start envisioning yourself as Iron Man with Jarvis, right? There, like you said, the trades AI is not taking Iron Man out of there, right? But you're going to have your co-pilot. So as you're walking around the site, you're going to start talking to it. All right, we're going to do that here. We're doing this here. Here's the dimensions. Here's the sizing. You're talking about measurements. You're going to take your measurement tool and you're just going to talk to the video while you're walking around, looking to document the job, looking for pre-existing damage, everything. And then you're going to have a one-click AI report that is going to come through and, hey, document our entire job. We got it even down to where you can pick the Home Depot that you shop at or the Lowe's, and it'll go. I have a guy in Canada. He's an electrician, and it had a link to every single thing he had to pick up at Home Depot with the cost in Canadian that he could build right into the. It's mind blowing. It's so mind blowing, guys. Like I literally had my wife saw our HVAC unit was full of water in the water pan and dripping everywhere, and the guy's starting to come down. She called a technician. I'm like, hey, before you walk in there, I'm going to send you a text, and I want you to act like an ignorant customer and walk in there and just tell me what you see. And in 30 seconds, this guy had a really thick Southern country accent. He's like, well, there's water in the water pan. It's dripping. There's condensation on the line. He was in my basement on a cellular signal taking a video. We ran it through Diagnose the HVAC. The report came out, said, hey, this is very common. In fact, most likely because of the condensation and the water pan full of water, that you've got algae in your drain line. Just go and clear the drain line. He goes over to the drain line, opens the drain line up, algae's flying everywhere, drains everything. And he looks at me, he's like, can I buy stock in your company? Because it was that mind blowing. We had a restoration guy come through and he's talking to it. Like I was telling you, he's talking to it. He's like, I see surface mold. I see this, I see that. And it put together the AI in one click, put together an entire remediation plan, what safety gear he needed to wear, what equipment he needed to leave, and then everything, boom, all documented. He could hit the copy, paste button, and boom. Think of it as a sidekick. He was needed as the expert to speak because the AI is looking at the video, it's looking at the photos, and it's listening to all the audio, and it's taking all of his expertise, and it's like your wingman where he's coming in, and now he's got a full report that he can build into his proposals and contracts and documentation and process.
Does it happen to factor in like local, like we live in Kent County, right? So some of our hospitals have some standards that aren't typical of someone in Ottawa County. Does it factor in any of the local guidelines or anything like that?
All you have to do is tell it. And then put it in your prompt. Tell them where you're located, where your jobs are. Man. And this is big AI, guys. This is not, I mean, we're building the same platforms as Netflix and all the others. So you're able to leverage the power of live video, which is why you don't see that in any platform, why we're going under the hood and you'll see us under the hood. We're already under a service site and then Jobber and all the rest, right? Where you can just launch these things right through the platform you're already at. Just click a button and go. Right. Our whole thing is one-click solutions. I like starting my truck with one push button. I like starting my paint sprayer with one pull. And I like tools that get the job done simply. Everyone says, oh, the contractors are like the knuckle draggers of technology. I'm like, no, they're not. Here's the problem we got is that we got a bunch of, and I make fun of my computer scientists. I'm like, y'all got a bunch of soft hands. Y'all ain't never spent a day on a ladder. Right. And I got a coder who's never done what I've done coding for me. And you know what engineers like to do? Over engineer stuff, right? So they want to put all this fancy pants stuff in there where I got to take 2 months of training just to learn how to use it. And my team has no patience for that, right? So anytime I can do a solution that's one click for my customer or one click for my team and does a good job, then I'm in for it, right? So go ahead.
We have a question right here from Rollin. He says that he likes what you're saying, but his question is how would you see underlying concerns without going into the home? And I think that's more because we are flooring based, right? So there's a feel when you're walking through spaces, and you can feel, oh, it's spongy over here, it's spongy over there. I can see some kind of water damage over here. So how does that factor in?
Right. So in some cases, you do need to go out, right? And you're going to have your sidekick and you're going to have your video. I'm feeling some sponginess. I'm seeing some of this, and it's documented. But give your remote tool a chance. Like, you're going to be blown away because it can see in the photos where you might even miss it, where it might even see water damage. You can submit photos of the work and have AI review that photo for water damage for these pieces. Can it get everything 100% of the time? No. But if it can get you 90% of the way there, just like when you send a guy out there, they're probably missing 5-10% things you didn't see before you rip that flooring up. So even when we go on property, we don't catch everything. We try to. We're pros. We're the best in the breed around the country. But you're going to let the customer know, hey, we're doing this all virtually. I need to bid it as I bid this. When we get on property, know that if we pull some things back, I might have to do a change order, and I'll show you that, and we'll document that. So when we pull stuff back, we see surprises, right? When I roll over the rock, there might be some roaches coming out, right? So you might not even see that when you get on property. So
one of the things that comes to mind is not that it's going to solve the problem for you, but it does document in our business. It's like, well, I thought I told you that we were going to do that or this or the other. It happens in commercial a lot. Like, well, we had a phone conversation and you were going to put, some tile on, or your estimator told me he's going to put some tile on this back wall, even though it's not on the drawings. And I'm like, we always go back to our bid and we're like, well, it's pretty clear what we have included and what we have excluded. When you boil that down to a retail kind of interaction, this is your, well, not only did I not see that during the, first virtual kind of meeting, but also as I documented while I was going, there was no indication about it. And so that's why it's not included, Miss Smith, and why I do deserve a change order for this additional work. It is additional work. Of course, you'll never get away from, well, if I would have known that, I wouldn't have done the job, kind of thing. I don't know that you can ever get away from that. So I hope that answers your question, Roland. I don't think you're going to ever necessarily be able to get the whole picture. You can get it on the easier jobs, probably your backsplashes, or, hey, I just need some new carpet in this single living room kind of thing. But you can see what kind of furniture you're getting into, what kind of bookshelves and that kind of stuff. So I see value there. One of the guys also asks here, James, what about the flatness of the floor? So could you, do you train this ahead of time, or does it train as it goes, as far as like, hey, I want you to notice if there's any elevation change between the ceiling line and the floor line or something of that nature? It's got to have something to compare to.
Right. And, I want everyone to look at this as a 1-2 punch. Like, when in doubt, drive out, right? We're trying to get rid of those tire kickers. Some of the small jobs where you're just replacing a section of the floor, like, it costs you more to drive out and drive back than just drive out and do the job, right? So we're going to go and nail those small jobs, right? That you're trying to fit in between. Like, yeah, I guess I'll try to schedule in between here if I'm out in the neighborhood again, because it's just, the margin isn't enough. But if you could just drive out and do it, you'll get it. It's that middle layer that I think Doyle's talking about, and I agree with him, where it's like, hey, I've done virtually, I've looked at the stuff, I've connected with the customer, I see they have money, I need to drive out and check out for the flatness, I need to check out for the moisture condition. Exactly.
This is what you're doing is you're eliminating. You can do 10 of these at your desk in the same amount of time. You could do 1 or 2 in a day or two. right? I mean, technology is going to come a long way. I see thermal imaging coming in for moisture and all that in the future. There's a lot of different things that could happen in the future, but I see the benefit to saving a lot of time. Man, this sure does
Right.
beat the little
Because
form that I made for people to fill out to eliminate them.
he followed that up with we can still take the concept out that you don't have to pre-qualify the property for the type of flooring they want through testing such as moisture meters and out of flatness conditions. And I think it's kind of that pre-qualifying and getting in there and getting it something accepted right away, and then going in there and saying, hey, by the way, you also have this. Because I see that a lot on the commercial side when you're doing bids, right? Because it's everyone wants to bid the same thing, but then once you got that contract, it's, hey, these things need to be addressed before we can continue.
Well, and let's not forget the point that James made earlier about person to person. The fact is you are starting to build trust immediately as you're going out there. I love video. That's we're not sponsored by LiveSwitch or anything, guys. We're just having James on talking about technology. But anytime you have video and you can put face to face, it's just like a picture. If you get a picture of your completed work, that speaks highly. If you can get the homeowner going like this in the same picture, and then you post it to Facebook, look at the difference that will bring you in interaction and in people's desire to get more of your content. Their need for, we love the human face as humans, and so you build that trust up front. And from a technology standpoint, it's clear that LiveSwitch has some technology differences. But if you even interacted this way with your client in some other video format, it's going to benefit you than just going out, seeing, and the first time you see them is when you knock at their door, and the first time that you see their property is when you open the door. So I think it's about really flattening that curve out, and not that there's still not a curve. It's just flattening it out a bit. That's how I kind of view it.
Yeah, I think what we're trying to get customers to not do is go down to the next Google listing, right? If I'm top of the Google list, or if I'm a referral, right, from someone else, they know me. When they call me, I don't want them going down that list. So when I video connect with them, I build that trust. I find out, hey, I'm driving out. I got to check flatness. I got to check moisture. Great. Now I'm already more committed to them, right? And in addition, what we're trying to do is have them not Google at all. So how do we do that? QR codes. Recurring revenue is the liquid gold of any tradesperson's business. So what our trades folks are doing is now taking QR codes, and when they're actually on property doing a job, they'll say, hey, I'm going to hang a QR code up here, wherever you're going to put it on the house. There's so many different places. If you ever need future flooring done, or if you have an issue with the work we've done, just there's my name, there's my phone number. But now you can scan a QR code and take a video of the work at any time. A person doesn't even have to be on the other end and saying, look, you guys did a great job, in my garage. Now I'd like my kitchen to get done. Here's the kitchen. Here's everything we're doing. And now you're getting pinged. You can run that through AI. And then when you call back, you're armed with them not going to Google. I want them to think, oh, this is my flooring person. So maybe a new tenant moves in, maybe a new resident, maybe a new business owner. Oh, I guess this is who does our carpeting in the office. Yes, right. I got my roof redone 2 years ago. And my neighbors are like, oh, that's a great roof. Who did it? I forgot. I'm just getting old, I guess. But they didn't leave any leave behinds. Or if you want to proactively get ahead of people, and it's a race to claim property, is to send out mailers, things with magnets, things people can put up. If you ever have flooring needs, call us or scan this QR code, take a video. And we have all industries that are doing this. I've got Serve Pros that are doing this. I've got College Junk Selling Junk, One Tom Plumbers, all of these different franchises that are already doing this kind of canvassing to get into those properties and paste QR codes around it to be the Amazon Prime of whatever your trade is.
Yeah. And, one of the most important questions is, can you make Rollin look younger?
So Rollin's been in the flooring business for 182 years.
Oh, that's pretty funny, Rollin. Yeah, I look at, like, when Doyle's talking about the moisture and the recommendations you have, when you build, if you're on the other side of the video and you've already built some trust and already positioned yourself as the industry expert, then your recommendations when you come on site are much better perceived and better received by the user, by the homeowner. I do this with in the commercial world. I do like speeches with architectural firms on the chemistry of flooring, and I do all that. Well, the next time I get a call from someone, they're like, "Hey, I seen you up there speaking." If you can align yourself with being the industry expert, and you do that by having what a lot of tradespeople don't have is a piece of technology and kind of get you out ahead and and flatten that curve. Well, you're setting yourself up for better success. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, and I understand technology is great and all these things, but once you start dabbling with AI and you can actually see what it can do to be your co-pilot, your customers are doing it too. They're going into these big AI. They're doing this stuff. The average customer is going to be becoming a lot more educated because of these things. So what's the differentiator? If everyone's got the same data, if everyone's got the same remediation plan, the only difference is going to be the people. Right? So that human connection. Who do you trust? I got all the data. I know how to do it. I even have the AI report if I wanted to do it myself. Right? I don't. Right? So now who am I going to hire? Right? It's going to be, do you have the credentials? Do you know what you're talking about? Does this AI report that either you generated or I generated as a homeowner make sense? And what I'm saying, to your point, Paul, is like, hey, this person speaks the lingo. This person has the reviews. This person has the referral. Now they have earned the business. Right? Even if I might be more expensive, right? Because we buy trust. That's what a lot of this comes down to as a homeowner. We're buying trust.
Not more expensive. You just offer more value.
Exactly. And more expertise, right? Yeah. And so, but these pieces of technology are here to help speed things up for you. Make sure you've got, an audit, because sometimes we do miss stuff. Even as pros, I've messed up plenty of times in my business as a pro. It just stuff happens. Like literally, we had our paint sprayers out. We painted a whole house. It just happened to be a cloudy day. I go to do the final walk around, and it happens to be a sunny day. And we're looking at the house, and it's like, man, your house is shining like a diamond. What is going on? Sherwin-Williams, or my painting company, probably should have said it, they shot glossy into my flat. I didn't see it. My guys didn't see it. It wasn't on the label. We just stuck, the paint into the sprayer, and we went to town because we're fast, right? Stuff happens. Right. So it's this kind of things that come up where we miss the moisture meter, miss the level, miss all the stuff. But, we need that audit. We need that additional eyeballs or additional tech to wrap around the good work that we're already doing.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I agree that the more that you could have, you do, if you did have a human next to you, you'd be like, hey, did you remember seeing X, Y, and Z? You do it anyway. So having something that kind of records and documents for you as you're on site, that's another key aspect to all of this. What we're trying to say, guys, is embrace technology. It's here. If you frequent the Huddle, you know that we consistently tell you to embrace, because you're either going to embrace it or be left behind. It's not stopping. That is 100% clear. You take something like this and you leverage that and your VTI, and you show by documented data that you are a professional, that you're expert level or your master level, or even if you're proficient level, and then you have something where you are also building trust face to face, and then you have the credentials to prove it. I mean, you're going to land most of the work that you go up against a guy that is just trying to jump in his truck, go out, take a quick measurement, and give a cheap bid. You may be more expensive, but your credentials and the experience that you deliver to your customer, those two things are the two things that you have to leverage to set yourself apart. Those are the differentiators. How the experience you deliver to your customer, both at the very beginning of the sales cycle to the end of the project and closeout, and your credentials, who you are and what you have, what you can prove from a experience and expertise level. Those are the things that you have control over. This is just going to allow you to showcase those things even further.
We do have a couple more comments. I just want to interrupt just real quick because I am going to throw this QR code up for Dan and Denise. There is quite a bit of stuff to be raffled off. So what's on there right now is valued at $6,500 and it's $20 a ticket. So you guys make sure you show up for
support our friends.
Yeah, support these guys, and $20 will go a long way, and you get some cool stuff. I did want to get this comment right here too, because I think you touched on this earlier. Because he says it's technology is great, but they need to be trained, and that's what you touched on earlier, is that you want to make it easy, one touch. Here it is, boom. And then it gives you that output, right?
That's right. And there's a key piece of that language there, need to be trained. How are you training? What are you training on? Right now, as maybe your senior technician can go in with their camera and talk about all the work they're doing, and it can document it, show the video. So when I do train my future technicians or future people, this is how we start to get out of our business, right? When you're ready to sell, if you're the key man of your business, the value of your business goes down. Right. So if you can show all the process, if you can remove yourself from the business, that value goes up. So being able to document that training, have that training, it's coming from this. As much as we want to sit there and type away all of our processes, we don't. Right? Like we do need checklists, we do need things to follow, but who creates that checklist? Where is that coming from? Are we enhancing that as things change, as new materials are coming in, as new processes are happening? How is that happening? You can now simplify all of that. Again, I don't want people.
Because that's what his next comment was. You need a checklist, and that's just something that you have to enter in there, and is constantly evolving, right?
Absolutely. And this is the audit trail of what we do. And I want people to not fear AI, and no one's going to say that, right? It'll come up in different ways, but a lot of times we just avoid technology because we don't want to learn it. I don't want the next thing, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? Like we kind of that way. So I always tell folks, if you haven't really interacted with AI, that's okay. Most people are just starting to figure out what the heck it does anyways, right? Go to a ChatGPT or a Gemini or a Grok, pick your favorite flavor and play with it. Like when I got the new paint sprayers, my team, we played with it first. We played with the new tools when they came out, and they're always coming out. And they're fun. So go and play with it. But then what happens is you play with it, then you see where it fits in your workflows and your business process, then you implement it, and then you can't live without it, right? At one point in time, these phones didn't exist, right? And remember when people were like, I don't want that Steve Jobs thing that came out. Now they issue these things when you're born, right? So
Yeah,
that's the natural way of technology. Where did AOL go? Where did the CDs go? Where did the DVDs? Where did all this stuff go? But we learn, we implement, and the good stuff stays, and the other stuff gets thrown away with the yesteryear's technology.
Well, and
Cool
Doyle's
story.
questions, sorry, Daniel. Doyle's questions too. Like, all you're doing is help solving the issues before they even come up, right? Like these are all the things that they're going to fix through AI, and pretty soon you can have someone brand new with a standardized checklist go and do this, and then AI is going to fill in the gaps. And guess what? If something gets missed or something gets overlooked, it's going to correct it. It's going to teach, and that new employee, that new person, is going to learn step by step through the process that AI is creating as well. Essentially, they're going to learn faster and get smarter than what it took someone.
And they're going to watch
years.
the video. Don't we all, when
Yeah.
something breaks, where do we go first? YouTube. Why? Because we're visual, right? And Roland's still using AOL. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I said the cool story is I just emailed someone like a couple weeks ago that was still using an AOL email.
But hey, we can call those the final adopters. You go from early adopters to final adopters. Someone's got to be the caboose on the train. It's all good.
Well, there's certainly a ton of ways that we can leverage remote access, i.e. video learning. I know that this is kind of talking about manufacturers and how their tech departments are using, could involve some of this technology. I think, at the end of the day, I would encourage you to, like James said, try some stuff out. would you mind kicking up his, please support Dan and Denise to QR it, buy a few raffle tickets, and let's support Denise in her support for Dan. But just check out LiveSwitch. They've got a, go do a demo, see what it's about. Like, go through that process. Don't be scared of this stuff is what we're trying to get through. And we're going to continue to bring you, kind of things that are going to push you, things that push me. And if it pushes me and I feel like it's something of value, we want to kind of bring that to the forefront and continue to push our community to, maybe step out a little bit, get some more experience, and then provide a better experience to our customers. At the end of the day, that's what it's about.
I got several tabs open on different parts of the website right now. It's pretty clean and easy to navigate. I will say that made it really simple.
Well, I want to. We have creeped up on our quick hour here. I want to thank James for coming on, giving us some access and some insight into LiveSwitch, and more importantly, just kind of start to expand our community's mind onto this stuff. We talk a lot about it, but having somebody who's lived through this journey as well and is using real world application of some of the technology that's out there to you. I know Roland has a store, and being able to pre-qualify a customer for him would be like key, right? I mean, why go out if it's a tire kicker, and why go out if it's a job you don't want to do because it's not in your wheelhouse, it's too small or whatever. So, check out LiveSwitch, go give it do a demo, see what it's about, and check them out. I want to thank James again. Always thank you, Jose and Daniel, for being on and driving this podcast and helping our community to get better. That's our goal every single week. We'll be here again next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Central and 4 Eastern. And we look forward to everybody giving it a shot. James, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Anything to close it out?
Yeah, with the raffle you guys got going, you can add a LiveSwitch license in there if you want. I'd be happy to give a winner a free year of the software. No problem.
Awesome.
I mean, at least a minimum of $2,000.
Appreciate that. I think right now, with what they have right now, they packaged that up, and I think they also have more stuff that's coming in, so we may end up doing another package as well. So that way, we definitely appreciate that, and we'll put that in there.
Yeah, anything we can do is support. And the best thing that people can do is support, not only help Dan with what he's going through. I mean, God forbid, if that was our number that got called, we all go through it. That's human experience, right? But I also want to encourage everyone listening to not be a dead end. And what's a dead end? A person who doesn't share about what they're learning. I don't think Paul, Daniel, or Jose are making millions doing this show. I'm sure they're doing it because they care about their industry. They care about you who are listening. And if you can just share, whether this episode, another episode, doesn't matter to me. Just share the show, pay it forward. Don't be a dead end. Be a real show someone in your company. Share it on your socials. They didn't ask me to say that stuff, but I'm always appreciative of people in the trades putting themselves out there to teach and coach and help us all get better. So Jose, Paul, Daniel, thank you so much for what you're doing for our industry.
Oh, thanks, James. Appreciate
you. All right, guys. Adios. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, everyone.